Having a look at question 1. The graph of f of x is given. Now, which of the following integrals has the greatest value? Let's have a look at what the first option means, A. If it says from 1 to 0, so under that curve, that means that represents the area under the curve for that section. Yeah? Hey, Mahin. Okay, let's have a look at option B. Option B means from 2 to 0, so that's obviously that's all of that area. So we can already see B is greater than A in terms of the area. Correct? So, to make it more clear for you, let's just say, for example, all of this is 8 units squared. Okay? Let's say this, I don't know, let's say it's, I'm just making up numbers here, minus 6. Let's say we get minus 6 if we evaluate it. Let's say that's 2 units squared. So that's basically like what the question is. If you integrate it from one number to another, gives you the greatest value. Let's have a look at D. So that just means all the way up until 8 to 0. So, yeah. Which is it, girls? It's actually B, that's right. Because, girls, with option B, it's just in this numerical example, it's 8 units squared. Whereas for example, option C, if it's from 7 to 0, what you're doing is 8 take away 6 plus 2, which is obviously going to be less than 8. Does that make sense? Whereas for option D, same thing. You're doing 8 take away 6 plus just a higher number than 2, let's say 3. It's still going to, all of these are still going to be less than 8. So that's how you do this question, girls. Yep, so the answer is B. You're looking at the areas above and below the x-axis, counting for the negative numbers. That's the key point here. All right? All right, next question. Let's have a look at question 5. Question 5 got me. Let's read the question. The area bounded by the graph f of x and the line x equals 2 and x equals to 8 shaded in the diagram below is 3 log E13. All right? What's the value of integral from 4 to 10, 3fx minus 2? All right, girls, what makes this question very tricky is where do you even start with this question, because you've got like transformations that are actually involved in the question. So girls, here's how you actually start the question. And I want to put an asterisk because that's the key part. Girls, in the first part of the question, it says if you evaluate the area from 2 to 8 under a certain function, what is that area given to you? Do you girls agree with this? Yeah, that's what the question is literally saying in symbols. The area of f of x from 2 to 8, shaded in the diagram, is that. Can we agree upon that? This is actually the first starter that most students won't be able to begin with, which makes the question really hard to access. Now, from here, let's now look at the transformation. You know, back when we did transformation, we do what's inside the bracket first. Okay, so let's have a look at what happens if I have x minus 2 inside the bracket. What does x minus 2 inside the bracket do? Yeah, shifts the graph, shifts 2 units to the right. Now, having said that, how does that, sorry, did I say something wrong? No? How does that affect any of the numbers here? That's what I want you to tell me. That's another key part that you need to figure out. It's not hard. Something there shifts 2 units to the right. Yeah, the integral is very good. So instead of 2 and 8, the 2 goes to 4 and the 8 goes to 10. That's your another key step. Make sense? Now, here's another tricky part. Girls, the area though does not change. The area does not change. I thought it does, but it doesn't, because you're just shifting the same area 2 units to the right. That's the way to see it. Are we good so far? Now, finally, what the question wants is now 3 times of what we have. Okay? Now, before I do this, do you girls recall, just in general, right? If I have, if I wanted to integrate that, you know how I told you if you just have a number in front, it's the same thing as just multiplying whatever you get here by 2, which means you're getting the area times by 2. Yeah? So how can we apply that here? That 3 in front, what can I do with it? Just take it outside. What that means is, girls, we know the area of this from the previous step. What is it? It's still the same, right? Because we just shifted the area 2 units to the right. But now if I have 3 in front, what happens to the area? You're tripling it. So therefore, the final answer is 9 log E13, which is B. That's how you do this question. The area of shaded region 1 is 2. So in another word, I'm just going to write this out. So basically what they're saying, the area of region 1 is 2. Let's just say 2 units squared because it's an area, doesn't matter. Area of region 2 is 3 units squared. Okay? And it is given that if you integrate, or the area from 4 to 0 of this graph is 10. The question is now, what is the area from 3 to minus 1 of the same graph? Good question, isn't it? All right. Before I do, girls, I don't like the blue color. Anything that's underneath the region, okay, you need to consider. Yes, they've given you the numbers, but when we're working backwards, you want to label them as what numbers? Negative, okay? That's your first key point there, all right? Yes, they've given you the number for the area, but they haven't counted for the fact it's below the x-axis. So that's something you've got to assume and know, okay? That's already a tricky part right there. All right, so what we're trying to do, in order to access this question, let's have a look at what the question wants. They want the area from 3 to minus 1, so that's obviously this as well as this. That's the area that they want you to sum together to get the answer of. So let's call that region 3 just for our sake. We need to figure out what the area of region 3 is. So all we need to do is do region 3 region 3 minus 2. That will give us the answer to that. Does that make sense? The question is to find the area of region 3 using this. Okay. All right. How should we go about it? It's actually not that hard now that I labeled it for you. 10 represents the area from 0 to 4. So from here all the way to 4. So what can I write as an equation? We got region 3, which counts from 0 to 3. Yeah? And then? Sorry, what?
Does R2 equals to 10?
Yeah, but we know what R2 is though.
-3.
Yeah, -3. That's right, because that is R2. And that is equal to, given in the question, 10. That's right. So we already know what R3 is now then, don't we? 13. Yeah? So basically, the answer to now this, we're finding the area from 3 to minus 1. That means R1 plus what? 11. Is that a multiple choice? Yeah, so the answer is C. So that's how you do this question. Okay? The shaded region in the diagram below is bounded by the vertical axis, the graph of the function with the rule f of x sine pi x. So this is the curve sine pi x. And the horizontal line segment that meets at the graph at x equals to a. So this graph meets the graph at x equals to a, which is just a horizontal line. Okay? Girls, here's the question. Let area be the area of the shaded region. They want you to find the area of the shaded region. Okay? Alternatively, girls, I think what you're saying is, let's just find the area between 0 to a. Is that what you're saying? Yeah? So if I find just the area between 1 to 0, and then that's for sine pi x, that's fine. That will give us the blue region. Yeah? And then plus, what you were saying is, find the area of the rectangle. Okay, find the area of that rectangle, which is just a times sine pi a. All right, that's good. And then what else do I got to do? Minus, oh, sorry girls, you girls are smart. I could have done that as well. Minus the area from 1 to a, which is under Oh, okay. Yeah, that should get you the same answer. All right. Okay, that's really good. You know what? Maybe I should have taught it like that. I think I was just too focused on the solutions and trying to understand how they got it.